Thanks, Nick. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. As you know, I only have 5 minutes here, and we have lovely Jennifer right down here who's timing me. So real quick, I just want to show you a live demo, something called Open Virtual Network, or OVN. This is a completely open source project that's sponsored in part by VMware as well as some other vendors. I'll show you a quick kind of view of what the Opn architecture looks like, just so you have an idea. This is cloud management platform agnostic, although it's initially garnering a lot of support within OpenStack. It's also hypervisor agnostic, so it is tied into OVS, although we could port that to other virtual switches at some point in the future, but right now that means OVN runs anywhere OVS runs, which means we could run it on any Linux hypervisor where there's an OVS port of Hyper-V underway, which means we could also run OVN on Hyper-V, making this a completely 100% open source solution for L2, L3 virtual networking on multiple hypervisors. So let's quick get into the demo and not waste any more time. What I've got here is OpenStack. This is a DevStack. Now, OVN is a 9-month-old open source project. We launched it in January. So right now, the only way to play with OVN is to use DevStack and compile a bunch of stuff in and automatically out of source code. So what I'm going to show you is I've already spun up some instances. I've got some VNC terminals back here, and you can see that we have connectivity to these guys, right? And so these are two of the instances that are on a logical switch, 172.31, whatever, and I can demonstrate connectivity across these two. There you go. Okay, so that's standard L2 connectivity between two instances on the same logical network. I can also demonstrate that I have another instance on another logical network, and I apologize, the fonts are a little small, but hopefully you can see. This is a third instance that is on a different logical network, so we're actually doing routed L3 in OVN, and you can see I've got connectivity there. So we're doing L2, L3, all in OVN, all open source, being driven and orchestrated by OpenStack. And I'll also show, if I go back here into the OpenStack user interface, that here's the security group, and it's a default security group, and it actually has an ICMP rule that allows that ping that I was just showing you, right? So if I go back here to my instances, or actually, let me go in here, and I'll actually remove this ICMP rule. Here it is right here, right? So I'll delete the ICMP rule, and if I go back now to try that same ping, you will see that the ping fails, which means that we've also implemented full stateful ACLs at the OVN layer, which means we can support OpenStack security groups both within the same logical network, between logical networks. OVN's architecture natively has support for supporting containers, whether those containers are in a one-to-one model, one container per VM, or in a one-to-many model, many containers per VM. Given the nature of this self-contained demo environment, I didn't have enough RAM to actually run Docker hosts in addition to DevStack and in addition to OVN. But if you're in the city and around, there's a meetup tonight up on Park Avenue by Docker, where one of our developers will actually be showing off Docker network integration at Docker 1.9 with OVN. So we've got that native support as well. Also following me up here in just a couple of minutes, the folks at Brocade are going to show you hardware VTEP integration with OVN. Because we leverage the same OVSDB schema that you've heard a couple of the other vendors talk about, that means OVN can also natively support bare metal workloads through hardware VTEP integration. So with a 100% open source architecture, you can support virtual machines on multiple hypervisors, you can support containers running out of Docker, and you can support hardware workloads running out of hardware VTEP as well, all with this one single piece. So